I want to welcome you all to today's session. We will be talking about using the Alexa show to increase independence in the home. My name is Arian Peppers, and I am the program coordinator in the Northeast region of the Florida Alliance for Assistive Services and Technology.
Hi, my name is Carol Chang, and I'm an occupational therapist. I own Evolving Homes, which is an accessible home modification business. There is a photo of me on the right-hand side of the page. I am an Asian female with long black hair standing at the beach. On the left side of the page, there's a photo of Arian. She is a Caucasian woman with long brown hair standing in front of a brick wall. We share a passion for trying out new technologies and love to share this knowledge with other people to help them make their lives easier. Arian educates clients about the available technologies and will help them implement these technologies at home. I educate clients on what supports can help them live in their own home safely for as long as they want. Many of my clients are older, living on fixed incomes, and just not ready to invest in technology yet. This is where Arian fills that gap. Through the generous state funding of the FAAST program, she's able to loan a device to anyone in Northeast Florida to try for 30 days. This statewide lending library for assistive technology operates just like a regular library. So she may not have the item you need right now, but she can put a hold on it or request it from another branch. And best of all, it's completely free.
So today we are going to be covering the Alexa show, and we had done a presentation in November that was focused primarily on the Echo Dot. And in that presentation, we kind of introduced everyone to the idea that this technology could help improve our lives in many ways. And these ways could seem really futuristic at times, but all of these features are readily available right now on Amazon. And so the Dot was the original Alexa, and the show is very similar to that Dot, except it has a screen on it now. And so we had previously talked about the different ways we can modify our homes with the Dot, and today we're going to kind of go more into that and also touch on the socialization aspect of everything. And to do this, we are going to use real case studies of people that we have worked with, as well as our own personal experiences.
On the right side of the page, there's a picture of a virus representing COVID. My first experience with the Echo Show was a year ago when COVID started. You might remember that when COVID started, assisted living facilities went into lockdown to protect their residents. As an occupational therapist, I was one of the only other people that had contact with the residents besides the staff. Prior to COVID, the normal procedure for visits would have been that families would be present to listen in on my recommendations. They would watch how I teach them ways to manage their self-care independently and learn strategies to be able to help them get up and down from the chair. But because of the shutdown, families were starting to feel cut off from participating in the care of their loved ones and increasingly distraught over not knowing what was going on in their care. I initially started using my phone to do FaceTime to include the families, but it was a challenge to keep the picture still enough so they could see me. It felt awkward and inefficient because it was. So I started looking into stands to put iPads on to be able to see the clients and realized the Echo Show was perfect for the problem I was trying to solve. The Echo 5 is about the same size as a bedside alarm clock, so it fits perfectly next to the recliners my patients were always in. So once the Echo Show was plugged in and connected to Wi-Fi, it's ready to go. When I arrive for a visit, the patient will ask Alexa to do a video call with a family member. Alexa will call them just like FaceTime, and the screen is now stable and easy to see. If we're moving around the room, I can just move the device over for the camera to see what we're doing. The show also has a drop-in function, and that means that if the family members just want to check in and see how they are, they can have immediate visual feedback as well as having two-way communication. It allows them to be spontaneous in a situation when everything seems to need to be so planned out. The Echo Show is also valuable to patients as a companion to decrease isolation. Alexa can play the day's news, answer trivia questions, and play favorite songs. She can be set up to scroll through family pictures during the day too. Caregivers love using Alexa so she can be the one to remind patients that they need to take their meds, drink their water, or even get up and move. I've noticed that the voice control function has been so much easier for my patients with arthritic hands or poor vision compared to using an iPhone. So on the right-hand side of this screen, there's a picture of a golden retriever with a party hat on. I wanted to illustrate how the show is much more than just a cool gadget. In the era of COVID, it's how my family stayed connected. My mother-in-law celebrated her 70th birthday during COVID, and while it was not the trip to Mexico we had planned for my mother's 70th, we were still able to celebrate the milestone birthday through technology. After the cake was placed and everyone was in their seats at the table, we plugged in the show and put it on the table where my sister-in-law would have been sitting if she weren't living in New York City. The candles were lit, the birthday song sung, and no candles were blown out. So we had a ton of fun because we could all chat together, and best of all, my sister-in-law got to experience the party in real time, all because of the screen on the show. It was definitely a little futuristic in that the table setting was just a screen with her face on it, but it definitely felt more natural and less awkward than trying to both sing happy birthday and balance a phone's camera. So in this one, on the right side of the page, there's a picture of kids studying at a computer. This is an example of the versatility of the show and how I'm using it to support the virtual schooling of my children. COVID forced everyone to pivot quickly and make changes to continue with our daily activities. My husband is a teacher, and in the first few months, he was able to stay at home with the kids and make sure everyone got their work done. But things changed when he had to go back to work in person. I wasn't ready to send my kids back to school because I was still seeing COVID positive patients, and I didn't feel like it was fair to expose other kids to the risk. We needed another solution. Alexa helped us fill that gap. I got an Alexa for each kid's workstation, and it allowed me to drop in on them periodically during the day just to make sure they were doing their work and not just watching cartoons on the couch. It also gave them the ability to call me if they needed help with a problem they couldn't solve, or just to let me know there was a situation I needed to address. An example of this was one day when the kids noticed that someone was walking around in the backyard. With a little investigation, it turned out it was just the pest control guy, but it was comforting for them to know that they could reach me at any time.
I actually have quite a few clients that use this with their kids, and they've really enjoyed having the Alexa show because while they're working from home, instead of their kids coming up to them requesting to have their mom show them a video on their computer or anything like that, they're able to just go up to the show and ask for the video themselves, and that's allowed these parents to work more effectively from home. So we are going to move now into the case study section of our presentation. And I have based these case studies off of clients that I have worked with. And we're going to focus on 3 different sections, including vision, hearing, and speech. And in each of these sections, I'm going to give you a case study on a person and then talk about ways that we have used it or ways that it could be used for individuals with similar disabilities. And so the first case study is going to focus on vision, and we are going to talk about a young woman named Casey. She's 16 years old, and she currently has a brain tumor that presses on her ocular nerve, and this has been causing some continual visual deterioration for her. She really enjoys her independence, as every 16-year-old does, and she doesn't like to rely on her family to assist her with her activities of daily living. And when they came to me, she was trying to find more assistive technology that could help her with this independence, including finding a brailer so that she can begin taking her school notes in Braille. And we talked about some different types of technology that could help her, and one of them was the Alexa show. So accessibility features available in the Alexa show that really helped out Casey were the screen magnifier. Because Casey still had some vision available to her, she was able to magnify the screen and be able to see any of the tasks that were on her to-do list that showed up on that Alexa show. She could see the time, the weather, any photos that came up on there. And then she also used the screen reader function, which is really neat. You're able to just tell Alexa, hey, enable voice view, and she will begin reading everything that is on the screen to you, which we found helpful if she was going to follow recipes with her Alexa. She was then able to have Alexa read these recipes out to her and then could swipe through each item or ingredient as she needed to. And we also had her using a feature on here that was called Show and Tell. And the Show and Tell feature allows you to hold up different food products in boxes or cans and then ask her, Alexa, what am I holding? And Alexa will cue you through some auditory prompts and will have you twisting each device that you are holding up, and she's taking photos while you do this. And at the end of it, she can tell you, hey, I think you're holding a can of chicken noodle soup or a bag of ramen noodles. And this was great for my client because then when she was cooking, if she couldn't quite tell what was on the label of that food, she was able to ask her Alexa, and Alexa could tell her. And then when she's making salsa or marinara and she needs crushed tomatoes, she's not throwing green beans in it instead. And so that was useful for her. And they also have a few other accessibility features, such as color inversion, so that you can have that white background with the darker text on it, or you can have color correction in red, green, and blue. And then another fun feature that we did find with this product was that you are able to have it read your audiobooks out to you, which Casey enjoyed because she typically reads her books while she's cleaning her room or while she's cleaning up after dinner and stuff. So these were our vision accessibility features, and I'm going to move on now to talk a little bit about hearing. So for our hearing case study, we are going to follow Tyler, who is a young boy who is diagnosed as deaf, and his family currently has an Alexa show that they frequently use throughout the day for daily activities, like and answering questions. They watch videos on it. And during COVID, they actually started using the show as a way to stay connected with their family. And I found it really interesting how they were using this, because instead of having Tyler holding his cell phone to sign to family members, he was using the video calling with the Alexa show instead. And so Alexa also has a captioning feature on it. So anytime you watch a video or you ask her questions, she will caption everything that is being said and will display it on the screen. And this was interesting for their family video chatting, because when their relatives were talking to them, Alexa was then captioning that for him. And that really increased his accessibility into the conversation. And I think it was a neat feature that Amazon added into this as well, that you can change the voice rate on the Alexa show. So when she is talking to you, you can speed her up or slow her down as needed. Okay, we're now going to talk about some speech accessibility functions that are available. So Miranda is 22 years old. She has expressive aphasia. She's currently living with a roommate and taking classes at her local university. Her roommate had purchased an Alexa to use, and Miranda wanted to be able to use it with her. And so we met and we talked about different ways that we could make this happen. And so one of the things that we talked about was the Tap to Alexa feature. And I have an image of this on my right side here. Tap to Alexa will appear on the screen of your Alexa show, and it will look like a finger that is pointing at a button. And if you tap here, it will pull up this screen that we have in this image, where you have 8 different options to choose from. And what this does is it allows you to give commands or ask questions to Alexa without having to use your voice. So if you were to tap on the quick question icon, you would be able to type in a question to Alexa and ask her there. And then you can add in new buttons for things you use frequently. So if you wanted to ask every Friday what movies were playing that evening, you could go ahead and add that in as a button as well. And this was a nice way for Miranda to be able to use the Alexa Show the same as her roommates. There is also a feature involved in Alexa where it will begin to recognize speech differences such as stutters, or if you speak very quickly or very slowly, and it will allow you to, it will understand what it is you're asking or saying, and it will wait for you to finish. And this has been very helpful for some of Carol's patients who have Parkinson's, because a lot of them whisper, and Alexa will still pick up on that.
And I was going to say that that was something that we really like, this functionality, if the whisper part of it. So if it's 11 o'clock at night and my kids are sleeping, then I don't have to use my normal voice to turn off the lights in my house or to lock the front door. I can just whisper to her and she'll automatically whisper back to me and pick up like exactly what it is that I need her to do. So my Parkinson's patients who really have a really soft voice, despite the fact that it's so soft, they're still able to get Alexa to do pretty much anything they want.
And it's also useful, you can connect it to your AAC devices as well. And I know I've tested this out with, I think, SnapCore First, and we are able to program in different commands so that these individuals can use their Alexa through their AAC devices. That was, a very neat feature for them to include. Okay, so we have gone through several different ways it can be used with a variety of different people. And we are going to open it up for questions now. If you want to put them in the chat, we are here to answer them.
So I just wanted to see if anybody had any questions from or had seen our last presentation where we went over some of the physical things that Alexa can help with if you're in a home by yourself. That is a really interesting part for the majority of people. We're all going through times where we're at home and it's so much easier to just use your voice and tell Alexa to lock the front door or close the garage door. Even at nighttime, we can get a little lazy and I don't want to get up to look and see if the security system is on, and I'll just ask her, is the security system on, Alexa? And she'll say, yes, it is armed, or no, it's not. And I can ask her the same thing about the front door. Is the front door open or not? One thing that my kids love is my son's job is to take out the garbage. He loves that. It's so much easier for him to tell Alexa to unlock the door and then open the garage door. And so he just, takes his little path. He doesn't have to, try to balance a garbage bag in one hand and reach up and, open everything on the other. And I have it set up where my locks will all lock automatically after 10 minutes. So when I'm in a rush and I leave the house, I'm not scrambling around looking for keys. I know that it's going to lock behind me. And I have the same kind of situation for my back door where, that one has a bigger knob so you can just turn it. So I didn't want to have to play around with a keypad for the back, whereas I have a keypad for the front. And so what's really interesting is you can have different kinds of situations, for whatever the situation is.
We have a couple questions in the chat here. And the first one is, to video chat someone, do you also have to have an Echo Show? And the answer is no. You just have to have the app on your phone and you are able to video chat with people that way. And you can also make drop-ins and phone calls here. And this was something that I had done recently. My mother had back surgery and I would be at work and I would drop in on her with my phone into her Alexa Show because she was unable to reach her phone. And then the other question was the cost of the device. And this will vary depending on the screen size you get and depending on the time of year that you purchase these. Amazon frequently runs deals, and the smaller the screen size, the cheaper it will be. So I believe I purchased a 10-inch device and it was $250 because of the larger screen, but you can get their smaller 5-inch devices, and I think they go to about 60 or 80.
Oh, I think I only paid like about 49.
Did you
I
pay
bought it
49?
I bought it on a major sale, so somewhere between 45 and 49. Yeah, so and that's why I ended up buying multiple of them, because they were so inexpensive. I think I ordered 4 at the same time.
So we have another question here. And we will have, it's a question about at this presentation, if we'll be handing out copies of it. If you want to email me, I can send you a copy, but we will also be posting this on our YouTube page for FAAST, and I can send out that information to anyone who needs it. If they would like to place their email in the chat box, you can chat me directly. If there are no questions, I'm going to move to our next slide. I wanted you guys to know that we will be doing another presentation soon on the pros and cons of the Googles and Alexas, which one would be better for your specific needs. And we will also be doing a presentation on the Wellbe smart home systems and how those can be used amongst different clients. If you have any questions, please feel free to contact us. I have included my information on the left side of the screen. My name is Arian Peppers, and my email is listed, as well as my phone number. And then we also have Carol Chang's information here on the right. And we have one more question. It was, how might this device help with mood and mental health? Alexa has several features to it where you can practice meditation, you can watch videos that can help you calm down if you are feeling stressed or feeling any kind of anxiety. She can go through simple exercises with you that might include stretching or yoga that can help place you in a different frame of mind. If this answers your question.
I had a recent experience like with my daughter who was having an emotional time, and we got, we decided that, some Raffi would be a really good thing. So we asked Alexa to play us a Raffi song. And even though, sometimes you have to ask it in a different way, it will come up with it, because some songs are copyrighted and they'll say, you don't have this song in your tunes, but there are often ways to get that taken care of. So you can say, play me a happy song, and she'll just pick something. And a lot of times it's often a good station, and it just keeps going and going.
I think being able to talk to your family members too would be a good way to boost your mood in case you are feeling down or you're feeling a little upset. You do have the ability to call them through the Alexa if you need to. And there's also several skills that you can download. And that is an area that I will definitely look into to see if there's a like a mood tracking skill that will allow you to reflect on your different moods. So that's a good question. Thank you.
There are a lot of fun features on it too, with the games and things like that, things that can help distract you as well. When I have patients who are going through a lot of post-op pain or things like that, they might be more interested in like playing, lots of the other skills that are involved there. So there's so much to check out. And one thing I would recommend is to get onto the newsletters, and they will push out what's new this week in Alexa, and it will give you examples of, here, try this with this. Ask Alexa to announce family dinner. And then, it gives you the exact vocabulary about what you need to be looking for in order to get her to say it. So it's very dummy proof, and it's a lot of fun, because then it really shows you, oh, we could do this now. Oh, we can try this now.
Do any of you have any experiences with Alexa that you have found her to be helpful in your line of work or personally? We would love to hear about those. If you want to send us messages, we're always looking for new ways to implement this. But if there are no other questions, This video will be available on YouTube for you to reference back. Again, our contact information is here, and we appreciate you all attending today. Thank you.